Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. My name is Mars, and today we're going to take a look at Android magnification chaining and how that has changed, because the recent update has broken it for a lot of people. But there has recently been a new way discovered and brought to light that a lot of people can make use of. So if you're an Android user and chaining has broken for you with the most recent update, let's give this method that I'll show you a try, and it can work for a lot of people. And that's the thing to keep in mind, is that it doesn't always work for everyone, so give it a shot. It doesn't cost you anything to try. So first we'll review the previous ways that people were chaining before on Android devices. They would go to their accessibility settings, and they would enable magnification with triple tap. So what this did, and you'll see now that when I'm tapping on my phone and in the game and things like that, when I tap something, there's a little bit of delay between the tap and the detection, and that's because the phone is trying to wait and see if I'm going to tap 3 times in a row to magnify like that, and back out, or if it's just a normal tap. So people were using this latency to input 2 attacks at exactly the same time. Now I don't believe this works on... Yeah, it doesn't work like it used to, because you can see the chain broke apart, it restarted, and it didn't work. So that's out for me. Some people, it still works. They say that, because they have an older phone or something like that, that they're still able to make use of it, but I can't do that. So magnification with triple tap, out. At least until, unless they fix something, because Gumi may change something that allows people to chain with this again, but for me, does not work. What I was a huge fan of was using Magnify with button, because now I can still use my phone normally, and it doesn't give me any sort of input lag, so that's why I loved this one. And what it did was, if you look here at the bottom, it puts this little guy down here, that when I tap on him, and I tap on the screen, it'll zoom in at that location. So it allowed me to control exactly when I wanted the input lag in the game to enable me to chain. And again, there are a number of people who are reporting that this still works for them. So if you're lucky and it's still working, then cool. If you're not lucky like me, and last I checked it was not working, yeah, see, they activated at different times. So chain breaks, ruined, it's not working. So that's a giant pain. So a lot of people are concerned. They're like, well, do I get rid of these units that I used to be able to chain with? And the answer is no. So the new way for you to be able to chain, and this app I suppose has been around for a while, but we haven't needed it with magnification. It's called the automatic clicker, and it's this guy right here. So you can go to the Google Play Store, whatever store you have for Android, and it's the automatic clicker. Yep, once again, I cannot spell. So it's this guy right here. Install it, open it. It'll recommend that you do a little tutorial, you read through the instructions on it, because it's not super intuitive, which is why I'm going to show you how to use it. So if you're like me and you don't like to bother with reading, just watch what I do here. What you want to do is start multi-target, and it'll force you to watch ads. That's what happens when you get nice free stuff. And it throws up this little bar on the corner of your screen. And what you can do with this is you can, and it stays in the background, so if you close it like I just did, it doesn't matter. But what you can do is you can program it to tap in different locations on the phone at specified times. So the way to set this up is to, let's see, can I do a new configuration? Yes, so we're gonna do a new one, and you do a plus for that, and it creates this little targeter, and you can place that on a unit that you want to chain. The other thing that you can do is you can tap on it to bring up the settings for this little dot. The delay that I'm putting for this one is 1 millisecond, and the duration is 1 millisecond, and count is 1 time. So that means it's going to tap 1 time for 1 millisecond, 1 millisecond after I tell it to do the tap. So we're going to save that one, and then we're going to add one more. Now this one right here, we're going to have delay for 2 milliseconds, meaning that it starts the millisecond after the first one, and the duration is also going to be only 1 millisecond for one time. So save that. Now, we all know that the quick hit family does not chain very easily. We're gonna just set up their chain real quick. Yes. So basically what this is telling the program to do is to tap these two locations within 1 millisecond of each other. So let's see if we can make it work. We need double quick hit, and then we need double armor piercing. All right, so then you press the play button that's up here, and it should work. Tap, and oh, would you look at that? A beautiful spark chain. And then if we want to swap over to another configuration that I have, we're gonna do this one. Now this one has 3 little dots. One of these is the first one. Yeah, so this one is 1 millisecond. This one is at the 2nd millisecond, and then this one is at the 3rd millisecond. So you can even do this with multiple units, but as my disclaimer kind of was, it doesn't work 100% of the time for 100% of people because of the phones that they have. But let's see if this one, I can get this one to work again. Now that is beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. So this one was built in the same way as the other one, where I just added these little dots and I placed them and I set them so that they were 1 millisecond apart from each other. And it works most of the time. It doesn't work every time, and it won't necessarily work perfectly on all phones. It won't necessarily work for all people, but this is a good alternative because, I mean, with these units that I have in the training area right now in particular, they really need some help with chaining because it is so tight and so difficult to try and get the chaining to line up for these units particularly. So if you can make it work without it, I mean, that's totally fine. If you saw my guide from yesterday, I didn't use a chaining macro or anything to chain against the Iron Giant, but you know, there may be harder things where you definitely need this, and it's nice because you can tap this little arrow, make it go away, get out of your hair, and then when you want it, you can pop it up, boom, blow the enemy away. I love that chain. It's so pretty. Yeah, so, and it works, and then, oh, I have these ones that I need to chain, then I'm going to load this configuration. I think 4-5 was the good one. Close, and then wham. So, this is probably what I would recommend for most Android users to at least give it a try, especially if you use units that struggle to chain perfectly, because as you know, I'll just show you again. I'll just try and do it with Lilith and Malphasi. It is so hard to get that to not break, because that breaks 3 times, and that's 3 times that it breaks twice, so that's 3 separate times that the chain has to rebuild itself. So not easy to do it manually. This little guy can help make it easier if spark chaining is super important for the units you're using. So that's about it. That's the complete overview of Android spark chaining. Hopefully they change things so that I can use magnification again, because that is absolutely my preferred way, especially with the little button, because that is so helpful. But if they don't fix that or bring that back, then this at least is an alternative for when it matters. You can always turn it off, you can always put it away, and then when you need it, you can just tap the app, opens it back up again, and boom, you have it for when you need it. So hopefully this helps those who are still trying to figure out how to chain now with those recent changes. Yeah. So let me know what you thought of this video in the comments, and let me know what you would like to see next on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.